You are listening to Fantha Tracks.
It's time to spin round the rim. This is Desert Planet Discs. Star Wars music in a single file. Here are your hosts, Carl Bayless and Greg Robertson.
Greetings, this is Julie Dolan, voice of Princess Leia, and you're listening to Desert Planet Discs. It's your only hope.
Hello, and welcome to episode 15 of Desert Planet Discs. And this is going to be a slightly spooky themed Halloween episode. So we kicked off there with Duel of Fates, the retro Halloween version by our previously featured chums, L'Orchestra Cinematique. You can find them on YouTube and Spotify. And yes, Halloween is almost upon us. Trick or treat. Lots of chocolates coming your way. And speaking of people who love chocolate coming their way, my co-host, fellow resident of this planet of discs, Mr. Greg Robertson. Hello, sir.
Welcome to Desert Planet Discs, the Halloween special, yeah!
Brilliant.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm not too bad. And yourself? Clearly in the mood for Halloween.
Oh, I'm very much in the mood for Halloween. I went to see Halloween Kills last night at the cinema as we record this. I had a double bill, Halloween Kills followed by No Time to Die.
Oh.
A new James Bond movie, which was spoiled for me a couple of weeks ago, but I thought I'll still go and see it. And rather enjoyed them both.
There we go.
So I'm very much in the mood for Halloween. I've been binging horror movies and TV shows and getting myself in the mood for Halloween. My costume's ready to go for my annual Halloween party I'm going to. It's going to be a good time.
Good.
Are you going out guising this year?
Actually, just as you said that, I was like, no, I'm not doing anything for Halloween. I am. I'm gigging. I'm playing a Halloween party.
I hope you're getting dressed up.
Oh yes, it's usually either zombie. Following this weekend's haircut, it could be zombie James Hetfield, I think. And also, obviously, in tribute to Metallica's Black Album, which has just gone 30. Which is slightly scary because I remember seeing them at Donington as it was released.
Have you listened to the any of the covers that have come out from that album?
I have the Blacklist project. There's some really, really good stuff on it. For me, the brilliant stuff on there is the stuff that doesn't just try and play the Metallica song.
Like Metallica.
Yeah. One, it's like a Sad But True by Jason Isbell, I think.
Yeah.
Which is like a real sort of rockabilly country skiffle sort of version, and it's brilliant.
Yeah, that's you want that, don't you? It's, rather than just recreate the wheel, whatever. Yeah. You want somebody to put their own spin on something.
Yeah.
A classic tune. So
yeah,
you go to listen to Metallica Black Album. You listen to Metallica Black Album.
Yeah, you put the 7 vinyl remastered edition on. Wherever it is. So yes, I shall be doing something for Halloween, dressing up as either a ghost or a zombie and playing the drums.
Excellent. But you've been busy as well in our downtime. I haven't had any. I've had downtime. You've not had downtime. You were interviewing somebody not too long ago. I missed this. I was gutted.
Unfortunately, there was an emergency at the Grey Star.
Yeah.
Yes, the interview we did with, as it turns out, very prolific musician, actress, and known to Star Wars fans as the voice of Princess Leia in all sorts of things, Julie Dolan. So if you haven't already listened to that, please check that out. It's a really, really good interview, if I do say so myself. Julie's an absolute pleasure to talk to. We met her, a couple of us met her up at Star Wars Family Fun Day in Burnley a couple of years ago, pre-COVID, and sort of hit it off, and have stayed in touch ever since. And through following her on social media, suddenly realised that she plays keyboards in all sorts of bands. Really good fun interview, as I say, so please check it out. But yes, you were missed, Greg.
Yes, I was absolutely gutted. It was like, last minute I had to pull out, but flying the flag, you
back there.
Show must go on.
Yes.
But since we last spoke, since the last episode, episode 14 of Desert Planet Disc, so much has happened. We have loads and loads to cover.
We do.
On this Halloween special.
That's just set me off into the thing about, have you ever heard the comic strip Bad News, More Bad News album?
No.
They're recording a song and they need some like spooky sound effects at the beginning. What's that? It's a bat. Then they get into this whole argument about whether a cow is a wild animal or a domestic animal.
Don't start talking about bats. Start talking about bats, you'll get me going on about new Batman trailers and Flash trailers, fandom. Yes. Different podcasts altogether.
Indeed. Not like we haven't got enough to talk about.
Yes.
But talking of things that we've seen, the big event that's hit, and I think it was due to debut just as we recorded the last episode, he says, is of course Star Wars Visions, the collaboration project between Lucasfilm, Disney, and a host of Japanese animation houses. And that hit late September?
Yeah, was it the 25th of September?
24th, somewhere around there, yeah. 7
anime studios, 9 different episodes. So I think one studio did a couple episodes each. Outstanding. I want more. I've watched them twice already. I need to go back and watch it a third time, but in original Japanese with subtitles, because I've only watched the dubbed version so far.
That does actually bring me to a very funny story. So I watched the duel was what was billed as like effectively the first episode, wasn't it?
Yes, that's the first.
And I watched all of the duel before I realised that it was native Japanese, and you had to go into your Disney Plus settings to set it into English. So I was like, we've been speaking about all the voice talent that they're using, and like English voice talent that they're using, and all these alumni, people like Mark Thompson and people like that.
User.
Yeah, all those sort of people adding voices, and I'm like, all of a sudden I'm like, it's all in Japanese. Oh well, I can kind of get the gist of what the story is, and then I thought, this can't be right. We've got with Disney Plus remote, and lo and behold, yes, I was just being an idiot. But amazingly, it was one of those things that, because it's such a great visual art form anyway, that actually watching it with the dialogue, certainly that episode as well, didn't really add much more to it.
Yeah.
The story was in the visual element anyway. The dialogue just added a couple of extra little flourishes and a little bit of trimming around the edges, but no, it was a really good episode. And like you've just said as well, I think the whole series, all 9 episodes, there's something in every one that you just go, that's brilliant. That's
just magic. Animation, the different styles, the different stories, just all absolutely stunning. A few standout episodes in there for me, for sure, with my favourite definitely being the duel. Just being a huge fan of Kurosawa. The sort of samurai imagery in that one, with the sort of straw hats and samurai bladed kind of lightsabers. It's like, I want one of those. I want one now. Come on, Galaxy's Edge lightsaber shop.
That's it.
Get me a Ronin lightsaber, please.
Yeah, I think certainly that's the one at the moment that they've already announced that there's is it a graphic novel or a regular novel?
There's a novel out now, yeah, the Ronin. It's out a week ago, I think. About a week ago.
Right. There you go.
So it's one I'm definitely going to pick up and read, because I'd like to hear more about that tale.
Yeah, and I think many of the episodes for me are either the springboard for a longer series, or in some cases possibly the end point that you could go back and tell the story leading up to that end point. Certainly, I think something like Lop and Ocho is one of those where you could potentially go back and tell some of the story leading up to that point, but then obviously there's also a story thereafter. Obviously, as a musician, for me, one of my top 3 was Tatooine Rhapsody.
Yeah, very cool.
Very, very, very cool. Very well done.
I want to play for Jabba the Hutt. I want that gig. I want to play it. What's it? Pod racing, please.
Yeah, and of course we got Tim Morrison back as Boba Fett in that one as well.
Another one of my favourites was The Elder.
Yes.
With the legendary James Hong as the elderly Sith kind of character.
Yeah.
You may remember him from Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, yes. Is that the one where Kurt Russell says, somebody says to him, "Are you ready?" And he just turns around and goes, "I was born ready."
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
John Carpenter classic.
I love that line. As you can tell, it's something that stuck with me ever since. I also really liked the twins episode.
Yeah.
I think a lot of them sort of explored what you could call potentially similar themes to existing Star Wars properties. So you've obviously got twins, the analogy to Luke and Leia. You've also got the dark side, light side split from the Mortis arc in Clone Wars.
Yeah, there was a lot of kyber crystals as well, made of appearance a lot in the episodes as well, didn't they?
Yeah. And obviously because Japanese culture, there was a lot of that sort of samurai, Jedi coming to the fore, sort of. But there's also a few bits in there that are potentially now, I'm guessing from what I've read and seen, that are actually canon now, which was things like the Ninth Jedi was the one with the sort of invisible lightsaber that then changed colour
depending on the wielder. Yeah.
Depending on the wielder. I thought that was just like really clever. They all lit the lightsabers up and they're all red, and you're like, okay, that's not a situation you want to be in.
Well, it certainly seems to be the one that's popular all round, and there's already talk that it might be that I've been a pilot for a show of its own. I can certainly see that, because that was a great episode, and the way it ended, you can certainly see more coming from that.
Yeah, but those sort of things as well, I can see those playing out in future Star Wars properties, both animated and otherwise. That whole concept of you could have a lightsaber that is effectively blank until such times as it's given to a Force user, and then it goes one way or the other.
So next time we're in Galaxy's Edge, people, look out for the blank kyber crystals.
That's the one you want.
Available in the shop.
It'll be like the Star Wars equivalent of those fish that you get in the
Christmas crackers.
Yeah. So you put the blank kyber crystal in your hand. If it goes red, you're bad news. I'm sorry. No two ways about it.
So, favourite episode, you mentioned your sort of top three with Tatooine Rhapsody being in there.
Top three, Tatooine Rhapsody, Ninth Jedi, and it's sort of a top 3/4 because Elder and Duel, depending on the day. I do really like the whole sort of mystery of that ancient Sith.
Yeah. Yeah, for me it would be Duel number 1, Ninth Jedi number 2, and The Elder probably number 3, with surprisingly probably Lop and Ocho at 4th position. That was the one I think going into it. I was thinking, I'm not going to be on board with this one, but I thought it was a great story, and the characters were fantastic. So, have you watched the behind the scenes? I haven't actually got around to that yet.
Yes. I was just going to say that the interesting thing with Lop and Ocho, they talk about, they wanted a non-human character as part of the story, and lo and behold, they reference our old mate Jackson.
Yeah.
And said, there's a history of rabbit-esque characters in Star Wars, so that was part of the inspiration behind Lop as a character.
Good old Jackson.
Still bringing it after all these years. But yeah, they're really good behind the scenes. They're only like short episodes. They're not like a Disney gallery type length. They're little 5 to 10 minute pieces, generally talking to the animation studios that were involved, talking about their inspiration, a little bit about what they were trying to convey in the stories and things like that. and do sort of cameos in there from the likes of Kathy Kennedy and people from the Lucasfilm side who were really sort of trotting out the why are we doing this sort of thing. And I think like everybody's said and acknowledged, the original inspiration for Star Wars all those years ago is George Lucas's love of Kurosawa and samurai films, and this kind of brings it full circle.
Yeah.
But also, I do think, and now having seen them, I do think it's definitely just elements of some of the stories that were so, not directly lifted, but certainly heavily influenced by story elements from the existing canon. I do think it, it's definitely part of its job is to, as a project, is to get Star Wars more popular in those Japanese and Chinese markets.
Yeah.
And at the same time introduce it to, there's probably a whole host of Western fans of anime as a medium that probably aren't that switched on to Star Wars, but all of a sudden now you've got Star Wars in this anime style. It opens up other markets domestically, if you like, as well.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I just hope Disney and Lucasfilm get some more Visions on the go, because I was hooked for sure. So
yeah,
and obviously with us being Desert Planet Discs, the music on the show was fantastic as well.
Absolutely.
David, our good friend David Collins, did the little intro music to the show.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
I hadn't spotted that.
Yeah, but the music is now available on streaming platforms.
It is on all your favourite streaming platforms, so Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, all those sorts of places. And another thing, having listened to them all this week, in fact, there are some elements that, again, aren't really lifted from John Williams, but are so heavily influenced. There's a few pieces, I think it might be The Ninth Jedi, that almost sound like they're going to break into Rey's theme.
Yeah.
And just little motifs, and there's a couple of bits, sort of Imperial bad guy music that almost sounds like the sort of the March in the First Order type. Dun, dun, dun. And it's just like one or two notes different.
Yeah.
But it's still got that same epic impact that the John Williams score has, but again, has been adapted. And obviously the music in Tatooine Rhapsody is just brilliant. Right up my street. I do love a bit of pop punk.
We might have to cover that at some point. Hey, Darth Elvis might have to do that one.
Definitely.
Somewhere down the line.
In fact, on the album of the music, because that's the only slightly annoying thing from my point of view, is although the music is available on all streaming platforms, it's most of the episodes are about £6 or £7, and there's a couple that have got slightly lengthier pieces, but there's a couple of them where they're all the musical cues from that episode, and you're lucky if you're getting 10 minutes of music.
Right, okay. Crikey.
So, but the Tatooine Rhapsody one has the Galactic Dreamer, which is the big hit single that they play, and it's also got an instrumental version of that.
I was going to ask, did it have it in? Obviously, I've not listened to the episodes in Japanese. Is there a version of the song in Japanese?
There is. I've only listened to the soundtrack once through, because I've got them all sort of queued up, and I think the version that plays on the album is the Japanese version.
Cool. I'm going to have to go and check that out. For Shizo, speaking of music, shall we get another tune on the go?
Yes, why not?
So, with this being a Halloween special, we were focusing on songs that were dark side influenced or monster related songs from Star Wars and Galaxy Far, Far Away, and we had to turn to our good friend Royish Good Looks with a song by Adele, who's just released our new single, Easy on Me, I believe it's called.
Yes.
This is the very first song that Royish Good Looks put out way back in 2015, just before The Force Awakens came out. And this is Hello from the Dark Side. Check it out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere.
Good Looks there with Hello from the Dark Side. And as Greg said at the top of that tune, available on all good streaming platforms and YouTube. And let's see if the new Adele album holds sufficient material for Star Wars parodying somewhere along the way. That's not an easy word to get out of there. Parodying.
Easy for you to say, sir. Easy for you.
Yes. So, not only have we had the delights of Star Wars Visions coming to Disney Plus, we've also had some other fantastic news and series and specials dropping, starting with the obviously Halloween themed Lego Star Wars Terrifying Tales. Have you had a chance to check this one out, Greg?
I have, yes, and it's been quite good. My younger two boys aren't totally interested in Star Wars yet. They'll dip their toe in every now and again, but Terrifying Tales has been on repeat quite a lot recently. They seem to have really dug the humour in it, and I just love the nods to classic horror films. Lost Boys, obviously being the first one. Just the image of the image of a Biff topless playing, knocking out some jizz on his horn, and I love. Was it a special episode of Making Tracks? They mentioned they wanted to, I think, grease him up like Tim Capello from the Lost Boys does in the movie, but because it's like 2D animation, it wouldn't really kind of show up. But that image, I was laughing my ass off at that scene, and just all the little nods to the Lost Boys hanging from the bridge, and also riding speeders as opposed to motorbikes, and that was fantastic. And the Wookiee's paw.
The Wookiee's paw, yes.
And again, like the monkey paw kind of granting wishes, and that was very cool. This, I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it, and it was interesting having a character called, I want to say Veneer, but it's not Veneer.
The Hut.
No.
Yes, the
Darth Vader's kind of
butler for one.
Yeah. The guy's in Rogue One and like says one line.
Yes. Yeah. I can't think of the character name either. We should write stuff like this, Dave. We should plan these things.
But yeah, what did you think? What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we've long said, and I think a couple of episodes ago we were talking about the the possibilities of maybe a Mando Lego game and stuff, and I just love the Lego stuff. They add to canon a bit like some of the stuff that's gone on in Visions. They add to the canon, but the humour is just right from the early Lego Star Wars games, where you got the sort of the cut scenes that didn't even have any dialogue. It was just all sort of glances and stuff. It was very slapstick.
It was quite interesting. I mean, obviously you had the monkey paw, Wookiee paw episode or segment. Obviously, we've just finished watching Marvel's What If.
Yeah.
And that was quite an interesting kind of take that, Luke had gone off and joined the Imperial Academy, and what would have happened, and Ben Kenobi would have lived, and Princess Leia might have flown an X-Wing, and those kind of little twists to the kind of classic story there, I thought was really cool. It was nice seeing Ben in an X-Wing, even in Lego form. It was quite a cool little thing. And Leia with, obviously, buns under the helmet. No, it was good. Yeah, the character whose name I now can't remember, turning into like a transformer at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, when are we getting the Terrifying Tales Lego sets?
Oh, yes.
You've obviously got Vader's Castle as a Lego set as well, but you can get some additional kind of Vader's Sith Hotel add-ons. They're quite cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of scope for some of those. And it also begs the question, is this going to be something they're going to do? We've had the Tales from Vader's Castle comic book series. Could this be almost an annual fixture?
Yeah, I hope so.
Because obviously, if they're gonna try and loop in some of those classic horror tales, there's certainly enough source material out there that they could not plagiarise, but parody.
They could keep it going forever, couldn't they?
Yeah. So there's, and I mean, even from the point of view, some of the posters that have come out to help sort of advertise it, you've got the Death Star as like an alien egg with the little fluorescent green cracks around it.
Yeah. And the shiny one.
Yeah, the twin Porgs on the very 70s carpet.
Yeah.
So as you say, there is so much that they could go back to. They could potentially make it an annual thing, or biannual if they're going to do 1 year a holiday special. I mean, who knows? We might be getting another Lego holiday special.
Yeah.
For Star Wars this year. I know there's due to be a Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special.
That's right. Yeah.
Of which we may learn more on the upcoming Disney Plus Day.
Hey!
Hey! Yes, mark your diaries, folks. November the 12th on all good calendars. We'll see I think it's the inaugural Disney Plus Day. It's basically the anniversary of them going live in the US.
Yeah.
I don't think they did anything particularly last year, unless, was it this time last year they did the investors chat?
That probably would have fallen around the time of the investors chat, I think. Yeah. This time last year. They announced this project.
they've basically decided that whilst investors in Disney might like sitting through 14 hours of spreadsheets, and as indeed does friend of the show Martin Keeler, who well, I get the bonus point this one. I think his comment about it was, there was all this really exciting stuff with spreadsheets, and then they went off and showed some rubbish trailers of things. We wanted to get back to the spreadsheets on facts and figures, but I was reading somewhere they reckon Disney Plus will, in the next 18 months to 2 years, will have overtaken Netflix as the
Indeed, yeah.
biggest streaming platform in the world.
Before we move on, I'm gonna get myself a bonus point here. So you were speaking about spreadsheets and stuff there. If you follow the Zavium on social media, you'll notice that Mr. Keeler has been doing his annual stock take of his Zuvio collection. So I feel sorry for his good wife Emma Keeler. So I'm taking a point for mentioning long-suffering Emma Keeler. And thank you very much for having me stay with you not too long ago. We had a good catch-up in down in London.
Yes, that was for the Ash gig at the Roundhouse.
It was indeed, yes. It was fan-dabby-dozy.
Yes.
I had no voice the next day from singing along to all the hits and watching our good friend Level Up Leroy.
Yes.
Do a DJ set beforehand as well, which was great. Support acts were brilliant, and fantastic time.
And in fact, Ash are doing another one of their live stream gigs.
Yeah, 28th of October, next
28.
Thursday.
Yes.
Stable.
Yeah. Stable. Yeah. And this time, the one they did earlier in the year was the whole of the 1977 album. This is a greatest hits set. So expect probably at least a couple of tracks from 1977. I would have thought a greatest hits set is probably going to feature Girl from Mars.
Mm-hmm.
Alongside that, we'll get treated to certainly the more recent tracks since that album. So
yeah, get some Annabelle and Cocoon. I'll be very happy.
Bit of Burn Baby Burn.
Yeah.
Just for that really, really, really cool bass line at the beginning. It's just like that live is just brilliant.
You're trying to earn some brownie points from friend of the show.
Friend of the show, Mark Hamilton.
Yeah.
Yes. No, every time I've seen them live, that bass line starts and the hairs go up on my arm.
Yeah,
it's just like, oh. Because
it was a fantastic show. Good to catch up with. Mark and Paul as well were down for that, so it was good to catch up with them. So sorry, but we digressed.
Yes. So yes, Disney Plus Day, and among the other things certainly of interest to Star Wars fans, there is a documentary. Now I'm going to say I think it's called Beneath the Helmet or something, which is a Boba Fett documentary.
I believe so. I think that's right. Yeah, there's a bit more news coming out about it this week, I think. So
yeah, the bit of footage I've seen features a cameo from our friend and sadly departed actor Jeremy Bulloch, who of course was the man inside the costume in Empire.
Indeed.
That obviously ties into the announcement of the Book of Boba Fett.
Yay!
Boba Fett. You say Boba, I say Boba. So
December
that
29th.
Landing on December the 29th. Yes.
And
so
hopefully, I'm guessing Disney Plus Day, we're going to get the trailer.
I would have thought so, yeah. You're going to be, 5-6 weeks out? So
yeah. They'll be ramping up the promotion for that, I would imagine, starting that day.
Yeah. So excited for that?
Very much so. I think Disney Plus Day is going to be a lot of cool stuff released, and some might get the Book of Boba trailer, but we might get trailers for Andor and Kenobi, or Obi-Wan Kenobi, I should say, because they're not far behind Book of Boba.
Yeah,
they must be the first 2 quarters of 2022.
Yeah. I can imagine in the Star Wars segment, if you like, you probably get a proper trailer for Book of Boba. But then I wouldn't be at all surprised if we don't see another sort of sizzle reel like we had previously for Cassian.
Yeah.
Sort of interspersed with little bits of behind the scenes, bits of actual footage, and then bits of here's them running around a quarry in the suburbs of England or wherever they may have been filming. Was it the Cleveleys?
Yeah. Or you could also have a Scottish guy trespassing in our set in Argyll and Bute.
There's a strange alien on that hill that looks like Elvis Presley.
Yeah.
Dressed as a
that was a long walk.
And of course, one of the big announcements or one of the big launches on Disney Plus Day is, of course, Series 2 of The World According to Jeff Goldblum.
Yes!
At last! This is what everybody's really signing up for Disney Plus for.
That's exactly what I signed up for Disney Plus for. Yeah. Not Star Wars.
Yeah, that Mandalorian thing, take or leave that, but Goldblum, most the people spending 25 grand on a pair of trainers. That's what we want to see. Jeff Goldblum talking to people about tattoos. Jeff Goldblum talking about ice cream.
And coffee. And all the good stuff.
Yeah. So, season 2.
Can I officially ask here tonight, Disney, can we just change Disney Plus Day to Jeff Goldblum Day?
Goldblum Day, yes.
Make it so.
Jeff Goldblum Day.
He deserves a day. If there's anyone out there in the world that deserves a day, it's Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, definitely.
Make it happen, Disney.
Yeah.
For everything in one location, daily news, reviews, interviews, podcasts, video and social media feeds, bookmark FanthaTracks.com for Star Wars news 24/7, 365.
So, new Star Wars content, Disney Plus. There was another show kind of snuck on there under the radar.
Yes, in much the same way as Biomes and what's the other one that landed?
There's
the fly-throughs.
Fly-throughs, that's another.
Yeah, the vehicle fly-throughs. Yes, we got Star Wars Galaxy of Sound, which was an interesting concept because obviously Star Wars is inherently known for the impact of the music, and indeed, second mention of the show for David Collins here, did a series with Rebel Force Radio called Star Wars Oxygen, all about the music of Star Wars, because somebody said that the music is the oxygen that allows Star Wars to breathe. So this concept is basically elements of the Star Wars canon, but with the music stripped out. So you've got the themed episodes. Again, they're kind of little short pieces. Dark side, light side, droids, aliens, but in the sort of settings where you see clips of the film where you would normally expect the music to obviously heighten the emotion or the mood at the time.
Yeah.
With that music stripped out, which gives you obviously a much different take on the scene and actually allows you to listen to some of the stunning work that's gone into both the visual effects and of course the sound effects, which is primarily what this series is trying to highlight, is the amount of work that goes into this stuff that sometimes can get lost under the music score.
Hey, this is making me think. This is a good place to get some samples.
Right, let's go.
George Lucas going to sue somebody.
Yes. Yeah, if you're into lifting samples for your podcast, not that we would do such a thing, then it's an interesting concept, and I think especially with some of the original trilogy scenes particularly, because I can listen to the soundtrack albums now and almost hear bits of the Death Star. You hear some of those cues, and in my head I can hear the stormtroopers' feet walking through the Death Star. You know, the little voice that comes over the camera and all those sort of things. So to hear that flipped around, my brain is still hearing the music.
Yeah.
Like all of these things, the editing on it is brilliant. The way they've sort of themed these episodes is really, really good. And it does highlight some of those wonderful, wonderful sound effects that, again, going back to the original trilogy, you know, where it was hitting power cables with a wrench and recording the sound for a laser blast and all those really sort of DIY things, you know, long before some of the more modern era where you're looking more at digital technologies and things like that. It is truly breathtaking, some of the sound effects.
Yeah.
And
the work
right,
yeah.
Yeah, and quite rightly so. You know, that's why Ben Burtt's won awards for sound design and the like.
Did you know he's got one more Oscar than he should have?
Has he?
That is a story for another episode.
Tune in next time, folks, when we talk about Ben Burtt's additional
I think I've actually got video footage. I'll see if I can edit, if I can get the audio from it for a future episode. So it was during the Celebration S, and I was one of the lucky folk to get a Jedi Master VIP badge, and Ben Burt was one of the meet and greet guests we had. I think it was on the last day, and he did a talk. He was answered questions from the people there, and there was a question about Oscars, and he told a story about Oscars and how he had one more Oscar than he should have. But I will see if I can dig out that audio, and we can maybe share that on a future episode.
There we go.
Speaking about people who deserve Oscars.
Yes. Their acting skills and everything else. The soundtrack skills. Yes. Well, in keeping with our Halloween or loose Halloween theme, we're going to have a bit of a monster track. Sarlacc Pit by, is it Darth Eric and the Mint Imperial? No, Darth Elvis and the Imperials, that's it.
He's a stunning gentleman, that guy, isn't he?
Yes. Handsome, witty.
Tall and dark.
Yeah.
Sideburns like velvet.
Yeah, but that's enough about me. That's Elvis fella. Yes, so Darth Elvis and the Imperials with their track from the album 4, Sarlacc Pit.
Sarlacc Pit.
What's that coming over the hill? Is it Darth Elvis? Yes, it was. Darth Elvis and the Imperials there with Sarlacc Pit. So, it is time to talk about monsters. The Star Wars saga, the animated shows, they all have a lot of creatures and monsters. So, with it being our Halloween special, we thought, what a perfect time to talk about our favourite monsters from Star Wars. Carl, do you have a favourite monster from Star Wars?
Ooh, well, yes. It's a kind of throwback, and it's one of the first, possibly is the first monster we see of sorts in the whole saga, if we take the years of release, that is. And it's also one of the most recent monsters, and that is the Krayt Dragon.
Excellent choice, sir.
Technically speaking, we only see a skeleton in New Hope, or a skeleton.
It was quite an imposing beast in that skeletal form as well, though.
It was. Although, having obviously seen since the somewhat larger Krayt Dragon that is bigger than a village in the Mandalorian, I think we might have mentioned this when we were talking about the episode. That Krayt Dragon sort of looked probably about 4 or 5 meters long, if you put it in relation to 3PO and R2. The one in Mandalorian was quite a bit bigger than that. So, was that a little baby one, or have they sort of rescaled? Maybe
just part of it had popped out the sand when it died, and it was like,
yeah.
And the rest of the skeleton's under the sand.
Yeah, could be. But even the head.
You can send me the check, Lucasfilm,
for retconning that for you.
Darth Elvis, Scotland. It'll come to me. It's fine.
Yeah, that's it. I like what they did in Mandalorian with it, because obviously you see the skeleton. It is sort. I don't know if it's actually official, but the wail that Obi-Wan does to scare off the Tuscans when he happens across Luke stricken in the desert is supposedly the call of a Krayt Dragon, which is why they leg it sharpish.
And it changes every time there's a revision.
yes, it does. It's gone from sort of like a... Apparently the original one, now I can't remember where I heard this, but the original one is I think it's a slowed down Godzilla and Godzuki type animated Hanna-Barbera dinosaur sound, and I'm sure something, I can't think where I've heard that now, but then over the years it's been re-recorded. I know, in fact, it might have been in an interview with Matt Wood, where Matt Wood was asked about re-recording it, and there was him and another guy sort of screaming in the car park and doing like bits of the Wilhelm scream and all those sorts of things into like a shipping container, to get loads of echo and things like that. Yeah. It may have been part of that interview, and when he was talking about that, and he was saying what the original sound was. But yes, so Krayt Dragon, I think. Although there are lots of others, and I mean, you could argue that although he's a nice monster, Chewie's a monster.
Yeah.
He does look a bit like a werewolf.
Yeah.
So how about yourself?
Well, it's a tricky one, because my initial thought, and probably the correct answer for me, would be the Rancor, because I love the stop motion work that was done on that. Yeah. But I'm gonna go left field here. I've been working on a little video, which I'll hopefully eventually finish and get up on the Darth Elvis YouTube channel, based on this monster. And it is, again, from A New Hope. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is the Dianoga. The pipe cleaner with an eye on the end.
Yeah. Now we talk about retconning aliens. That's another one that seems to have gone from New Hope, where it was a pipe cleaner, a bit of hose with a big googly eye on the end.
A googly eye on the end, yeah.
Yeah. To something that's altogether a much bigger beast. And I think most people back when New Hope came out, when New Hope was still just called Star Wars, would have said that was probably some sort of space eel or water snake type beast. But since then, we seem to have had explosions of the Dianoga, or more exploration of the Dianoga's form, and it seems to be sort of a big star-shaped creature.
Yeah.
Just with a bit of a googly eye.
Bit of googly eye.
Yeah,
well,
so what were your thoughts? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you know how my mind works in mysterious ways, disturbing ways sometimes. And whilst reading through, prepping for the show tonight, and thinking about Dianoga, a silly idea popped into my head, and I've written it down. And I'm going to perform a little song for you.
Okay. Live.
Boys and girls.
Without
We
rehearsal.
grew up in the, I think it was probably the 80s, this song originated. And it popped up in the film Parenthood. Have you seen the film Parenthood? The classic with Keanu Reeves, Steve Martin.
I was going to say, I know a film called Parenthood with Steve Martin.
Yeah, Steve Martin one.
I'm now trying to think. I know of it. I probably have seen it, but
Well, in the 80s, do you remember in the school days, maybe the late 70s, early 80s, the song Diarrhea?
yeah.
I'll have to apologise, people, ladies and gentlemen.
If you
Just
mean
before the show, the song Diarrhea popped into my head, and I wrote down some lyrics, so I'm going to sing it for you right now.
okay.
When you're falling in some trash and your escape seems rather rash, Dianoga, Dianoga. When something buzzes by your leg and you wish you'd stayed in bed, Dianoga, Dianoga. When Luke just disappears, it's time to face your fears, Dianoga, Dianoga. When Chewie starts to roar and your inside's getting sore, Dianoga, Dianoga. Need to get to Rebel Base, but first we need to brace, Dianoga, Dianoga. There we go. I actually stuffed up one of the lines there. I was meant to sing, when Luke just disappears, it is time to watch your rears, Dianoga. But I sang, it's time to face your fears. Sorry, messed up my own lines, but there we go.
There you go. But
That was like in my head 5 minutes before we started recording
that's
this.
a live demo there, people.
There we go.
Expect
Coming soon to YouTube.
expect a fully orchestral version to debut sometime in the future. Dianoga, then. Yes. Have you read? There's, I think it's in the first Certain Point of View book. The Certain Point of View books are a collection of short stories. One was released for 40th anniversary of New Hope. One was released last year for the 40th anniversary of Empire, and they're collections of short stories about events from each of those films, but told from the point of view of different characters. And there is one in the New Hope one that is told by the Dianoga.
Nice.
It's about, it's a story about the Dianoga, sort of in the third person, so the Dianoga's point of view.
He doesn't get enough love, Dianoga.
I think, and it's been a while since I've listened to it, but I think Dianoga is actually a lady.
Oh.
Lady Dianoga.
Oh well. We don't get enough love for the Dianoga. She's a lovely looking lady.
She is.
And she's certainly aroused young Luke Skywalker.
Find somebody that looks at you the way Dianoga looks at you.
I think we need to move swiftly on before this gets really dirty. I was talking like Dianoga sex stories.
Well, what can we possibly move on to from that?
Let's talk about toys. Come on, not sex toys. Dianoga sex toys. No.
No. Hasbro. Well, yes. As we record, we are over the next few days going to see Hasbro PulseCon.
Yay!
Is the sort of the full. I think it's 2 days.
2 days indeed. Yeah, with a performance by Weezer.
With a performance by Weezer, which I'm really looking forward to because I love the new album. Van Weezer is just brilliant. There's so many nods to 80s
hair metal,
guitar bands and hair metal in general, including one track that just totally lifts the riff from Crazy Train.
Nice.
By Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah, the last 2 albums by Weezer have been fantastic.
Definitely check that one out because it's brilliant. Van Weezer by Weezer. There we go. Check, please, to Carl, care of the old folks' home. So, yeah, we've got Hasbro PulseCon landing to tie in with our monster thing. We should get the official confirmation / a bit more information about the worst secret in the history of HasLabs.
Yeah.
The Black Series Rancor.
I thought you were going to say the Black Series Dianoga there. I was getting really excited.
Black Series Dianoga as well. No. So that's obviously slated for a formal announcement. And from what I've seen, discussions in various collectors forums, I think people are hoping for a lot of fleshing out of some of the pipeline stuff that was already been announced. But knowing Hasbro, there will be 1 or 2 new surprises in there for people.
Indeed. We'll finally be able to get our hands on the Black Series Dave Filoni, which has been about, it sort of feels like a year since that was announced. It's certainly been like 6 to 8 months, I think, since that was announced.
The Trapper Wolf. Yeah. So, but not to sort of miss an opportunity. The last few weeks have seen several other announcements, and certainly the Lucasfilm 50th anniversary range, if you like, has continued with the announcement of several figures in the droids range.
Very nice.
Packaged to tie in with the animated series. So you've got an R2, a 3PO, and the stylized Boba Fett, all as vintage collection scale, so 3 3/4, and then a Black Series of the Boba Fett, because Black Series collectors need more Boba Fetts.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't had one for a few weeks, so.
A selection of colours. When are we going to get Black Series Pride Boba Fett?
Yeah. The retro, the prototypes. That's it. Yeah.
My favourite series. I'm collecting them. I love those. So, more please.
I'm sure it won't be too long.
Good. There was also the George Lucas Stormtrooper.
George Lucas Stormtrooper.
Yeah,
which I was quite tempted by, but I am still being very, very good.
I'm the same. I'm behaving myself because the droids and the George Lucas were very tempting.
Yeah.
But I will probably have to let myself be naughty when it comes to the Mandalorian Season 2 Retro Collection.
Yes.
Another announcement.
It does look very nice. Once again, another Boba Fett.
Yes. Because you can't have enough Boba.
Yeah, just for all you Fett completists out there. And we also got the Bo-Katan Armorer.
Ahsoka Tano.
Ahsoka.
Beskar Mando, I think. And the
Death Trooper, which does look quite nice actually.
Yeah, I'll definitely be ordering a box of them from my good friend Dave Tree. All the good stuff.
All the cool stuff. Yes. And of course, not only Hasbro, but lots of other Star Wars licensees are getting in on the new weekly announcement of various bits of merchandise under the banner "Bring Home the Bounty." But for me, it's
just another
Mando.
Monday.
I just had another silly song idea. Bring home the bounty.
That's exactly what when I first heard "Bring Home the Bounty," I was just thinking of like some big, sort of like banjo-led country western sort of
Bring home the bounty. Sorry, folks. I'll stop.
It's full Darth Elvis head on today.
It is. My sideburns are back. I shaved off my beard. My sideburns are back, so I'm kind of back in the Darth Elvis mindset. So apologies.
Everything's a song idea.
Yeah, it's constantly.
But so we've got weekly announcements running right the way up to and probably beyond the release of the Book of Boba Fett, including, intriguingly, I've seen mentioned in several places, an announcement sometime, I think it's late November, early December. It's highlighted by a game controller. So like there's an image associated with the bounty each week, which is supposed to be the image that comes from the bounty puck. Yeah. And one of them, I think it's first week in December or something, is a stylized game controller of Xbox/PlayStation type, without them wishing to be too proprietary to either platform. So the thought is that there's going to be an announcement there of a game launch.
Ooh.
Which would be quite interesting, because presumably it's not the Lego Skywalker Saga, because that's already been announced for next spring.
Yeah.
So
could it be the sequel to
Fallen Order?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is it Fallen Order 2? Is it something completely new? Or have they nicked our idea before we had it of the Lego Mandalorian?
I think they've nicked that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Send the checks to Carl at the Old Folks Home and Darth Elvis, Scotland.
Desert Planet Discs Holiday Fund, care of. Or saying that, you could do one of those big charity check presentations at Celebration next year for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd happily collect a giant check. Don't know how I'm going to get it home.
Yeah. Well, it's all right. We'll just put it behind the bar at the hotel of choice.
Oh, you don't have to. You could just take a photo nowadays, can't you? You have to put it into your bank account. That's a giant check.
There we go.
So we have some more music before I write any more songs.
Yes. Well, talking of writing songs, here is another friend of the show, Din from F105. We've played several of his tracks from his lockdown project, which is called F105 2 Side B, which is acoustic versions of tracks that he was able to record during lockdown. And this latest single has got an accompanying video with a little Star Wars Easter egg in there for the keen-eyed amongst you. So this is Finally Found a Way by F105.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Finally found a way to sing some soul. Oh, I finally found a way to rock and roll. Oh, I finally found a way to never grow cold. Oh, I finally found a rise and follow what we think they'll do. Gotta only feel some gratitude. Everything we focus on will come true. Some soul, oh I finally found a way to rock and roll. Oh I finally found a way to never get cold. Oh I finally found a way to let it all be. Gotta only see the highest you. People rise and follow what we think they'll do. Gotta only feel some gratitude. Everything we focus on will come true. F105 with Finally Found a Way, and Din has recently found a way to be back out and playing live, and if you go to the fanthatracks.com website you'll be able to find links to some video from that, and we too have been back out and about. The recently held Meanwhile at Coventry event, which was situated around the grounds of the Cathedral and Coventry University, which was predominantly sort of comic art and comic storytelling centred convention, which saw myself, Mark Newbold, Claire Henry and Matt Booker.
Booker's alive!
Booker's alive! Indeed he is. Spend a lovely day in a very wet Coventry, but got to go to, there was a Star Wars writers panel which featured Kieran Gillen of Vader's Castle and Darth Vader, the Marvel series, George Mann, who has written a couple of storybooks, one of which I think has either just come out or is coming out soon, which is a series of short stories, sort of like Christmas type stories, holiday stories for the Star Wars universe. And our old chum and lead singer with Blues Harvest, Nick Brokenshire, who obviously has a prolific career as a comic artist and writer for IDW, their Star Wars titles, including the absolutely brilliant
annual, which was a Echo Base Empire Strikes Back 40th anniversary tie-in. Which, if you haven't seen that, people, check that out because it is brilliant. It's basically the attack on Echo Base, but from Vader's side. So we were talking earlier about the certain point of view book and how that flips stories round. This is very similar. So you get the story of the attack on Echo Base, but from Vader's viewpoint. So yeah, that was a really good talk. I think unusual for a convention. I think that panel was about an hour and a half.
Oh, right. Wow.
So it was really good in-depth chat. One of the organisers is also a lecturer at the university, a gentleman by the name of Simon Myers, who has also done artwork for Star Wars Insider. So was obviously able to talk, and he sort of led the panel. So that was a really good afternoon spent sort of doing that. And I think audio from that has gone out as part of Making Tracks as well. So well worth a listen to check out what those guys had to say about their careers in Star Wars comic writing and story writing. And coming up in the next few weeks, anybody would think the pandemic was over, but you know, we're all being safe and taking whatever precautions we can, but events are rolling on. So we're out there trying to cover these things. So we've got MCM Birmingham on the weekend of the 13th and 14th of November, just after Disney Plus Day.
Hey.
Yeah, and then the following weekend is both London Film and Comic Con and Wales Comic Con. So certainly I'm going to Wales Comic Con.
I was hoping to go to London Film and Comic Con, but I think it's probably unlikely going to manage that now.
Yeah.
Because of the next one you're away to see, which I'm going to try my best to get down for.
And top of the tree, quite literally, Dave tree, yeah, is everybody's favourite Farthest From, which is the Vintage Star Wars Collectors Fair in Fordingbridge, home to all the cool stuff and our good chum Dave Tree. And that is on December the 12th. So, yes, again, there will hopefully be a good presence of Panther Tracks people there. And I know, I think Mark Newbold is hoping to attend. I'm going down for the weekend. Hopefully we will see your good self there as well, Greg.
I'm going to try. I was lucky enough when I was obviously down to see Ash. I paid a visit to all the cool stuff and Mr. Tree. It was great catching up with him. It's been, I don't think I've seen him since Celebration Chicago. But yeah, so I'm going to do my damnedest. I've been looking at flights, and there's, to fly to no, you can't fly to Fordingbridge. There is no airport in Fordingbridge. There's a lot more in Fordingbridge than there is in my village, but there's also no train station.
2 rounds over the top of it.
Yeah, so the flights are silly expensive. They used to be quite cheap because it used to be a flight to, I think, Southampton, which was quite close. So Bournemouth, but from Aberdeen, but there's not anymore. Or there is, but you have to go via Europe. So I'm looking at trains now, and all else fails, I might even drive.
Trains, planes, and automobiles.
But I will definitely, I'm going to try my best to get down there. I need to book some time off to come down for that.
There you go. So we might, who knows, we might even be able to do a in the same room podcast recording.
That would be pretty incredible, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Wouldn't that be scary?
Oh, what a way to finish the show.
What a way to round off the show, bringing it back to being scary. There we go. And to round out the show this evening, we have the Darth Nihilus theme epic horror version by Samuel Kim, who you can find in all the usual places, Spotify and YouTube, where we found this wonderful version of the Knights of the Old Republic soundtrack with some extra spookiness. So on that note, it's a hot down from me.
And it's a hot dang from him.
Hot dang!
I am the darkness in which all life dies. All life exists simply to sacrifice itself to
Hey, this is Mark Hamilton from ASH, and you're listening to Desert Planet Discs.
Thanks for listening to Desert Planet Discs. If you want to stay part of the action and up to date on all the latest Star Wars news, check out the Fantha Tracks app via the App Store on your mobile device.
You can contact us via email at radio@fanthatracks.com. Comment, like and share on any of our social media feeds at Fantha Tracks, and be sure to subscribe, leave a review, preferably a 5-star one, on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or your podcatcher or smart speaker of choice.
Don't forget to head to fantatracks.com/radio, home of Fantatracks Radio, and follow us on our social media feeds at Fantatracks, and bookmark fantatracks.com for all the latest in Star Wars news.
Coming up next on Fantatracks Radio, it's Making Tracks.